Episode 6 of the Captain and the Real Deal podcast. Today's episode recaps the Week 1 games and takes a deep dive into the Week 3 matchup between our respective teams, the Seattle Seahawks and the Minnesota Vikings. We will also predict the winners for all of the other Week 3 games, as well as recapping the results from our Week 1 fantasy matchups and who we plan to start for Week 3.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Damen und Herren, it's time for the podcast featuring Captain Vuk and Billy Gold, aka The Real Deal. This is the only place that's talking Hawks and Kings, but to be specific, we're talking Seattle Seahawks and Minnesota Vikings. So strap up. We're taking you on a fantastic voyage, unlike any you've ever been on, so sit back and get ready to set sail to the emerald-rich lands of the Seattle Seahawks and the treasure-filled valleys of the Minnesota Vikings with your hosts, Captain Vuk and Billy Gold, aka The Real Deal. Let's get it.
Welcome back, football fans, the Scolders, and the 12s to episode 6 of the Captain and the Real Deal podcast. I'm Billy Gold, along with my co-host, Captain Vuk, and our production engineer, Mike Top Gun Cruz. Much better looking than the other Tom Cruise. We have another great episode to serve for you today as we're going to recap the Week 1 games and then take a deep dive into the Week 3 matchups for our respective teams. We also will predict the outcomes of all the Week 3 games, as well as discussing our fantasy football team's results from the Week 1 matchups. And boy, I got toasted. And our projected Week 3 lineups. As always, I suggest you fill up your solo cup, sit back, and get ready for another fantastic voyage. Cap, welcome. Are you ready to roll?
I know you can. Get a little louder than the average fan. Let me see you stand up, hear you scream and shout. That's what the 12 man's all about.
Billy Gold, thank you, brother. And to all the 12s and everybody in the Emerald Nation and to all you Scolders, this is your guy, Captain Vuk. And on behalf of Destiny Travelways, we want to thank you all for trusting us with your travel plans and letting us get you where you want to go. We take your journey seriously, and we are now on to Week 3 of what so far has been an awesome 2021 football season. I hope you agree with me, B. Gold.
Absolutely.
This is going to be a fun episode because the clash of all clashes is on the horizon. Seattle Seahawks versus Minnesota Vikings. 12s versus Scolders. Early NFC playoff preview?
I think so.
B. Gold, are you ready to talk some Hawks and Kings? I know I am.
Oh, I am so ready.
Let's get it.
Okay, let's go. I am fired up today.
Uh-oh.
This week feels like a Thursday night game for us as we had less time to prepare because I'm not available tomorrow. Me on our usual day. But we're gonna fight through it.
Yes, we will.
All right, let's get going. Week 1 recap of the Vikings. 27-24 overtime loss on the road to the Bengals. Another kick to the groin. Are you kidding me? I could point to the ref's blown call on the Dalvin Cook overtime fumble at the Cincinnati 38-yard line. Do they not see the same footage that we see at home? Cook's rear end was clearly on the ground before a sweeping arm knocked the ball out. That is not why we lost the game.
Why'd you guys
This, Cap, this is the beginning of the end for Mike Zimmer.
Oh no, this ain't B Gold talking then. This got to be the Real Deal talking.
Somebody get me a press pass.
Uh-oh.
Coach, where's the accountability? 17 penalties. Not ready to play. Period.
That's a lot of penalties.
I could have grabbed 10 guys from a senior home and executed better than what you coached up. What are you doing? One penalty provided a free play. For those who don't know what a free play is, a guy jumps offside, the quarterback has a free play to throw it anywhere he wants. He could throw an interception. It doesn't matter. They're already going to get a 5-yard penalty. We jump offside more than any team I've ever seen in my lifetime, which resulted in a long pass that set up a TD. You can't make this stuff up. This starts from the top. Take ownership or go flip burgers at Burger King. Bench someone. Cut someone. Do something. I am already scouring the wire for our next head coach. Cat, any suggestions?
I mean, as far as coaches, no, not right now. But, I mean, do you see any?
Yes, I have one. I have one.
Who you got?
I got Bills offensive coordinator, Brian Dable.
Oh.
You heard it first here. Brian Dable brings a vast amount of winning experience. He won a national championship as the offensive coordinator at Alabama in 2017. He coached in New England for a total of 11 seasons and was part of 5 Super Bowl titles as an assistant. You heard it here first. Brian Dable. Get him. If Zimmer can't do it, get him out and get Brian in. All right, let's move on to left tackle, Rashad Hill, filling in.
I just want to say goodbye to the real deal. He just ran out the door.
Oh, no. He's not. Are you kidding me? There's paragraphs to go. Left tackle, Rashad Hill, filling in for you yet to play first-round draft pick, Christian Darrisaw, who hopefully will be back next week, was beaten like a drum all day. Bengals defensive end, Trey Hendrickson, formerly of the Saints, who I cannot stand, manhandled him the entire game. Mm-hmm. Next up is Cardinals defensive end Chandler Jones, who just came off a 5-sack game.
That's right.
Rashad, Jones is better than Henderson. Chip him. Play 3 tight ends. Do something. All right. Cornerback, Rashad Breeland. We interviewed him and brought him in for a look at, and early in the season, and he didn't think we offered him enough money. Okay?
Okay.
So he went around a couple other teams, and he didn't get nothing what he thought he was going to get. So he came back to us, signed a 1-year deal. He was torched all day. He was all day by the first-round draft pick from LSU, Jamar Chase.
That's not good.
Bench him. We are deep at cornerback. It's one of the few places we're deep at. Bench him. Try someone new. Rotate people. Chris Boyd, Cameron Dantzler, Harrison Hand. Do something, coach. All right. I shouldn't go after this guy, but you know what? I'm doing it.
He's still on fire?
Yeah, exactly. You know what? Defensive end Danielle Hunter.
Let's hear about him.
You had 1 sack. And you know what? You almost put Burrow out of he got up limping on the knee that he just had repaired. But you know what? Other than that, I did not hear your name all day. All day. Come on. You want to earn a long-term contract as the best defensive end in football? You got to do better than that. All right. Let's move on. Kurt, otherwise known as Captain Checkdown. I know you didn't have much protection for most of the day, but throw the ball away if the play doesn't develop. 2nd and 10. Kurt, hear me. 2nd and 10 is much easier to overcome than 2nd and 18. It's mathematics, Kurt. It's easier. All right. And finally, we probably would not even have had a chance to climb back into this game if the Cincy head coach, we're not hiring him, didn't try a 4th and 1 at their own 30-yard line, Cap. Midway through the 3rd quarter when they were leading. What is he thinking?
Is he disrespecting you? I mean, does he not believe in your defense?
It sounded like, and we thumped them. Bad decision that the Vikings capitalized on got us back in the game. All right. On the bright side. All right, real deal. Get the heck out of here.
Yeah, hit the road, brother.
On the bright side. With all that said, somehow we still had a chance. So I got some game balls. Defensive tackle Michael Pierce. He sat out last year because of COVID. He opted to sit out. He was disruptive and in the backfield all day. An interior defensive lineman had 2 sacks. That's great. If we get that all year, awesome. All right. Kicker, Greg Joseph. You know the history of Viking kickers. 3 extra points and a clutch 53-yard field goal to send the game in overtime. On this play, he made the initial kick, but Cincy tried to ice him by calling a timeout right before the snap.
How'd that work out?
Well, one of the Cincy players was walking next to him in the backfield, and one of our offensive linemen pushed him away. Joseph responded by sending his next attempt right through the middle of the uprights. Good start. We need a kicker. Please take that off my mind for the rest of the year. Greg, off to a good start. Game ball. Third and final game ball. And you know what? Kat hit me up with a text during the game. We talked all-time rosters a while ago.
Yes.
And I got a new guy for the all-time roster. He's only played 1 game for us, and he's already on my all-time roster. Punter, Jordan Berry. Pittsburgh Steelers cut him. We got him. He flipped the field position with a late punt that traveled 63 yards and pinned them back at their 8-yard line. I think that alone puts him on my all-time roster, replacing Greg Coleman, because the only reason I put Greg Coleman on there is because he lasted a long time. We've never had a special punter. There's no Ray Guy in the Minnesota Viking histories. But you know what? Jordan Berry, game ball. 3 game balls. So, Kat, whew,
That's a lot.
what say you?
That's a lot. So the punter gets 1 punt, and he's on the all-time list?
All-time. You didn't even know who Greg Coleman was when we talked about him.
No, that's amazing. That's amazing. I can sense the frustration. You know, I got to remind you, though, it's week 1, and you said this yourself, 17 penalties in the NFL, and you still have a shot to win the game? That might say one of 2 things. Number 1, it could say that your competition is ridiculously weak, which I don't believe is the case. Number 2, it could say that your team is so talented that you're able to stay in the game despite all of those self-inflicted wounds.
What I can say, Cap, is if you were in my shoes watching that game, I don't even lift weights. And I was pumping iron during the game just to get the frustration out. I pulled a hammy trying to run a sprint at halftime.
I don't know what to say other than I understand the energy gets pent up, and you know what? You got to get it out. You got to do it in a healthy way, and that was a healthy way. You know, doing sprints in the backyard.
I pulled up. As soon as I felt it on the left leg, I pulled up.
But I mean, your team is 1 game. You went after them, and maybe that'll help them, you know, understand how passionate that the Scolders are, because you got to show better. You really do. You can't have 17 self-inflicted wounds and expect to be in the game.
Exactly.
Yeah, you got to bench people. You got to bench them. You know, it wasn't pretty, but the good thing about football is that it's behind you now. You just hope it doesn't come back to haunt you, and you know it might. And I can't wait to hear you talk about your the next matchup.
Well, you know, let's get out of the Vikings. Let's get on to your recap of your game, Cap.
All right. So I am very thrilled to be talking about my Seattle Seahawks today. You know, we had the new offensive coordinator come in. They kept everything behind the hidden curtain. You know, no one could really see what our offensive packages would look like. We had an idea that our defense would be aggressive, and we expected our front 7 to play well. And they did. You know, the game started out with a little bit of turbulence. You know, we win the toss, we defer, which is the Seahawks thing. We usually defer. The opposition, the Indianapolis Colts, get the ball, and they drive down about 9 minutes, eat up the clock.
Yeah.
But when they get inside that red zone, right around the 9 or 10 yard line, somewhere right around there, the defense slowed it up.
You know, I was flipping between games on DirecTV.
Yep.
That's a little advertisement for DirecTV. So if you want to be a sponsor, you reach out to me. I'll get you hooked up. But here's what happened. Here's what happened, Cap.
Let's hear
I don't
it.
mean to throw you off your game.
Let's go. I'm on my game.
But here's what happened.
Yep.
Every time I tried to watch the Seattle game, there was a darn commercial.
Not good.
The commercials lined up for both games. So I wish I would like to see more.
Yeah, no, you would have enjoyed what you saw, because when they got inside that last series where we stopped them, we stiffened up on 3 downs, forcing them to get a field goal. But how we did it was fantastic. I'm going to say the first play, trying to think, it was Jordan Taylor, a rookie, off the left side, the right tackle, offensive side, left side of the defense. He comes up and makes the tackle for loss, sets the tone. the very next two plays, Jamal Lewis is involved, and I'm trying to think who the third person was. But anyway, it was a 3 and out, just a bunch of thumpers, forcing them to kick a field goal. That's a big deal. On the road, they're driving, their crowd is going bananas.
It ate up a lot of clock.
It did. Ate up a lot of clock.
Kept Wilson off the field.
Kept him off the field. And, but we forced them to get a field goal. We're like, you know what? That's good on the road. That's a good start. Didn't give up the touchdown. And I'll talk about this part later too. But so we get off the field. Offense comes on the field. It's time for the unveiling. And it was a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Yeah, good start for your new offensive coordinator.
Russell Wilson was composed as always, utilized all the weapons. Chris Carson was the hammer that he needed to be. He made sure that the defense knew that it was going to be a very, very long day. He made sure of it. And then Tyler Lockett reminded people that he's still on the team and he's one of the best, if not the best receiver in the NFL. He made a catch that was out of this world. And he made it look easy, but it was extremely difficult. On a scale of 1 to 10, as far as difficulty, it was a level 12.
So you're saying it was a Chris Carter catch?
It was beyond. Although I can't disrespect Chris Carter though, but it was beautiful and it paved the way for the Seahawks offense. And the one thing I didn't like in our first series there was, DK got a taunting penalty for 15 yards after Tyler's first touchdown. He kind of gets in the ear of a defender and the ref hears him and whacks him for 15 yards. We can't have that.
They're focusing on that this year. I've seen a lot of that across all the games I watch. They're focusing on it. You can't do the smack talk after a big play.
Right. It's a point of emphasis, and you need to maintain your bearing. But that catch, I have to highlight it because it was phenomenal. And then Russell later on uncorks a 69-yard bomb directly into Tyler Lockett's sprinting hands.
Saw that one.
So they set the tone, and they did everything I was hoping they would do, and most Seahawks fans were hoping they would do. Utilize the weapons on the roster. Offensively, our tight ends got in the game. We had 5 catches as a unit for over 50 yards and a touchdown. Gerald Everett, who we picked up from the Rams.
Saw that.
Him. Chris Disley, my guy, balled out.
I think Everett's going to end up being your number 1 tight end.
I don't know. They both can block.
Yep.
And so that's a unique combination in the NFL, and they can both catch too. So just really quickly get into the defense.
Well, hey, before you move away from the offense,
okay,
I think we have a recap or a follow-up from last week. I think I had told you what Xavier Rhodes was going to do.
You did. And I have actually wrote him down in my notes that he, you told us he may not finish the game, and he actually didn't even start in the game.
That's Xavier Rhodes.
And I don't know if it was cramps or other things, but it's a calf issue.
Yeah, calf issue.
And, hopefully heals up and he's back if we play again. But
calves get cramps, right?
He didn't show up. So we didn't have to contend with him because they thought he might be the real good matchup for DK. But DK, he had a little bit of a slow start in the first half, and then he let people know that he's still here in the second half. So that was exciting. And the only thing, I'm just going to be brief on our defense, and I love what our defense is doing because we have a ton of energy. We hit people, and it's clear that the defense really enjoys hitting the offensive players. And not just the people with the ball. I love that. They are disciplined but aggressive. And that's the kind of balance you want, to where you're not blowing plays by being too aggressive and, not looking at your target. They are looking at their target. They are not quitting, and they are flying around. So I hope that continues all season long, because if it does, they're going to put themselves in really good positions. So just to touch on lastly, because you brought it up, the importance of special teams with your now Hall of Famer punter, possibly.
Ring of Honor.
Our special teams did a fantastic job as well. I mean, and one of the things I wanted to highlight, and I hope he gets credit for this tackle, but there's a dude named John Radigan. He's a West Point graduate. If he gets cut, he's going right back to the Army as I think first lieutenant is what they come out of the academy as. And he got cut initially when the rosters came out. They put him on a practice squad. He somehow gets activated for this game. And I'm watching what I believe was a kickoff return, and I see a thump, and I see Radigan's name right in front of the thump. So hats off to you. And speaking of that really quickly.
Is that a tip of the cap right there?
Yeah. We wanted to try a new segment called Tip of the Cap as a sign of respect to those that had a great week. Maybe you expected it. Maybe you didn't expect it. But, a tip of the cap, and it could be a player. It could be, it could be the person that was serving you the peanuts in the game if you're in there. anything that was positive that you want to show some homage, pay some homage to, and show some respect. So, on that note, B Gold, do you have any tip of the caps for this week?
I do, but I'm going to save it until we go through the week 1 results.
Okay. So it's okay.
I really saw a play that really caught my attention.
Nice.
And in that same game, I also have something, for you as well. So
Okay.
I'm going to save that for that section. So are we ready to move on to the next section?
Yep. But I just want to really highlight really quickly that in the game against the Colts, we only had the ball for 24 minutes. And the Colts had it for almost 36 minutes, but I wanted to just highlight the efficiency of what we did with the ball, even though we did have 7 penalties for 53 yards.
Yeah, not many 8-minute drives,
Right.
You get an 8-minute drive,
Right.
you're probably going to control the clock for the game.
Right. So we can clean up the penalties that we did have. They only had 2 for 16 yards, but I'm really excited about what Shane Waldron is
Off to a good start. So
Agreed.
before we get to the week 3 matchup, which is Cap's Seattle Seahawks against my Minnesota Vikings, which is 4 p.m. kickoff Eastern time, September 26th. Let's get a question for the Cap.
Let's get it.
So, Cap,
Yes, sir.
who is your favorite Seahawk of all time and why?
My favorite Seahawk of all time is probably, and I have a lot, and I'm really tempted to say Marshawn Lynch, but I'm going to keep it real. And
Chancellor?
It's Cam Chancellor.
I knew that one.
That's my dude, man. And
I've only been doing this. This is our 6th week, and I if I heard that guy's name any more times, I think he was your family member.
Cam, it's all respect, bro. That's all it is. But if
Great player.
if I were ever to have made it into the NFL and were able to play safety, I would want to emulate my game after the way he brings it. And it's more than just what you see on the field, like the way he prepared, the place he took his mind to, and the respect that his teammates had for him. That's pretty big to me. So yeah, number 31, Bam Bam. That would be my favorite guy.
I wrote myself a note that I figured you were going there, but I was hoping you would surprise me.
Well, can I return the favor? Because
Absolutely. This is a section where we should throw a couple. That's the only one I have for you today. I caught you off guard last week, so
you did.
I will try to provide the best answer I can. Can't guarantee it's going to be great, but
well, I was going to ask who is your favorite current Viking and why, but do you want to reach into the historical pool and pull any Viking and tell us why that's your favorite?
all right.
Because I know there's a lot you love.
Yeah. So, you put on that uniform, you're my favorite player.
No, you got to go deeper.
I try and go deeper. That's not how I root for a team. I think that there's too many guys that are too equal for me. I just need this group or the next group or any group. Get me a Super Bowl victory. Then I'll pick a favorite player. And then I'll go back to all time. I'll reflect.
Chris Carter.
Chris Carter is definitely
John Randall.
Yeah, they're up there. But how do I split those hairs?
You just got to commit to it. You can't do it.
And I can't. I have jerseys in my closet. I have Fran Tarkenton, no question. How could you not have Fran Tarkenton jersey? I have a Chris Carter jersey. If I'm going somewhere, I got to flip a coin to see what I'm wearing.
Okay, so does that count as a stump?
You know what?
Stumped?
Here's my favorite Viking of all time, Bud Grant. How about that?
Okay, I'll take that.
Bud Grant never played a game, but you know what?
He led you into almost all of them.
Yeah, he set the standard for what a Viking should be.
Okay, you went with the coach.
And don't say we lost 4 Super Bowls.
I won't even bring it up.
All right. So, Cap, thanks for that. And you know what? I kind of planned for that. I kind of felt if I was going to ask it, I might get that back.
Mm-hmm.
But I just really cannot. That's just not how I root.
That's okay. That's good.
I have a lot of great players. There's some players that I like. Paul Krause. Who's going to ever beat his interception record? Nobody. So I'm going to stick with that. They win a Super Bowl, I'll be committed to picking a favorite player. How about that?
Okay, that's cool.
All right.
You got to do you.
All right. So let's get before we get to the actual game of the Vikings and the Seahawks coming up on week 3, let's talk about history with the Vikings and the Seahawks. why'd they put a 1 in front of the 3? It said Seattle Seahawks lead the all-time series 13-5.
Yeah,
I'm going
surprised too.
13-5. I know that you beat our tails off for the past 6 years, but I didn't see it that it was that much. But I guess after the 70s, we haven't been as good as you guys. So all-time series 13-5. Seattle's up, includes one postseason game. That was January 10th, 2016. So Cap, before I talk about that, I know as our pregame warm-up here, you had mentioned another game. Why don't you expand on that before I go into the January 10th, 2016 game? The last matchup was October 11th, 2020.
Yep.
Seattle 27, Minnesota 26. What do you got, Cap?
Yeah, that's the only game I wanted to reference because it has quite a few of the current day marquee players in uniform for both teams. Kirk Cousins led your charge. Russell Wilson led our charge. Adam Thielen and your Mr. Jefferson, your receiver who's really good, was there. Thielen kind of lit us up, but he did it in like slow cuts. He had a lot of shorter, the longest pass he caught was 14 yards. And he had, I think, a couple of touchdowns, and he really put it on us. We had Bobby Wagner at the time, so he's still here. We did have KJ Wright, who's now a Las Vegas Raider. And I can't believe he's wearing those colors, but it is what it is, and we still support
Changed
him.
his number, too.
Yeah.
34.
That's very tough to deal with, but he'll always be a Seahawk. But Kirk Cousins is going to be taking the snaps, and just like Russell Wilson will be. But that game was one of the most competitive games and one of the most entertaining games of that season.
And it seems like the past 5 years, every game is at Seattle.
Yeah, and this one is going to be...
Who decides that?
In Minnesota.
Can we rotate?
I don't know how often they play. Like, we play the Colts every 4 years, so I don't know what the rotation is with Minnesota. But in that game, Minnesota was kicking our butt on total yards, 449. We had 314. They had 201 yards on the ground. We had 124. And guess what? We were 0-7 on third down. Unacceptable. If we do that this year, we won't win.
I shouldn't even ask this question because I don't even know the answer. How many penalties did we have
in that game? I don't know.
We got it. That's one we got to get because you know what? After this week, I'm sure that had something to do with it.
Yeah, penalties never help you. So,
and turnovers.
So that game, and I'm going to rewatch it again this week, but it was one of the most competitive games, fun games, obviously for a Seahawks fan because we ended up winning. It went down to the wire. Both teams were throwing haymakers.
Exactly. And you know what? Zim actually had figured out the twist by Russell Wilson because we got him a couple of times in that game when he tried to do that signature twist move. But again, you guys made the plays and took the victory.
Well, I mean, I think Dalvin Cook, who was there that day, also is going to get a heavy dose of the success for formula, or the formula for success for your team, and we have to be ready for that.
All right, good. Any other notes on that game?
Nope, that's it on that game. I'm just looking forward to the future and touching base on what we expect.
So my historical game, and again, another loss, January 10th, 2016 in Minneapolis. One thing that remained constant during the Vikings-Seahawks wild card matchup, the cold weather. Just prior to kickoff, the temperature was -6 degrees Fahrenheit, and the wind chill was -25. Cap, it was the coldest game in Vikings history, and the third coldest game in NFL history.
It looked cold.
Even the Jallarhorn couldn't withstand the elements, shattering before the game and being replaced with an older model just so we could get that signature sound out there at home.
Wow.
It shattered.
I didn't know that. I know it was freezing out there, but that's intense.
So that day began with 89-year-old Vikings, actually my favorite player.
You got one?
Of all time. Legendary head coach. Bud Grant running out in his short sleeve polo shirt for the game's coin toss. Short sleeve polo shirt. People's eyebrows are freezing, and he comes out in a short sleeve polo shirt like it's nothing. Back in the day, he wouldn't not allow heaters on the Vikings sidelines. Now he was smart in this aspect. He put the visiting sidelines in the shade while Minnesota was in the sun. So, he got it into his guys' minds that they did not need heaters to play. All right. So the weather led to mostly run plays by both teams, and the squads relied mainly on defense during the game. The Vikings' only points in this game came from the foot of kicker Blair Walsh, whose 3 field goals put them up 9-0 by the end of the third quarter. However, Seattle outscored them 10-0 in the final period with a touchdown catch from Doug Baldwin, followed by a 46-yard field goal from Steven Hauschka in the first 7 minutes of the quarter. The Vikings had a chance to win it with 20 seconds remaining after driving down the field, but Blair Walsh missed. A 27-yard field goal, a chip chop.
That ball was like a block of ice, I'm sure.
He made 3 before. One was 50. What changed? They rotate the ball in and out, Cat.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, but
Put a blanket around it.
whatever it takes.
Actually, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the whoever has the ball, that team has balls you bring in specifically for field goals.
Yeah, the kickers have their own balls.
Exactly. All right. So how could Walsh miss that field goal? I could have made it with my left foot, with my pulled hammy.
Oh, boy.
This hurt as much as Gary Anderson's missing that field goal in the 1998 NFC Championship game that would have put the Vikings up by 2 scores with very little time left. All right, so Cap gave a little history. I gave a little history. I got some sad news to report, and then Cap will come with a follow-up on some news he has. Actually, follow-up from the previous podcast. Sad news. Mick Tingelhoff passed away this Saturday, September 11th. He was 81 years old. Tingelhoff's number 53 is one of the 6 numbers that have been retired by the Vikings in their history. Can we please have a moment of silence? Rest in peace, number 53. Great player. Wow. Wish I had you today.
Yeah, rest in peace, Mick. And I believe he never missed a game. Is that true?
Exactly.
Wow.
He has the second longest streak behind Jim Marshall.
That's phenomenal.
Exactly. All right. Let's talk about this game.
Let's do it.
So, Cat.
Well, first,
You want to go first? Oh, you have a follow. I'm sorry.
Yeah, a couple quick follow-ups.
follow-ups.
So last episode, you asked me if you could get oil in Tennessee. And the answer is actually, yes, you can. Natural gas and oil drilling is taking place in 11 counties in Tennessee.
So you couldn't have brought that great helmet and the Love Ya Blue uniforms. The Titans uniforms.
They could have.
The Titans uniforms, they stink.
Yeah, they could have done that.
They're
but,
awful.
They didn't do it.
Am I wrong? What's a better uniform, Cap? The Houston Oilers or the Titans?
Oh, I like Houston's.
Oh my
yeah,
God.
I like
It's not even debatable, is it?
It's a beautiful blue there. And then the other fact check thing was you asked about what Matt Hasselbeck really said in that playoff game against the Packers that's so painful. I thought that Matt had said, we want the ball and we want to score. But he said, and you were right, B Gold, we want the ball and we're gonna score.
Yes.
And again, I still loved every word of it.
And you should have.
Yeah.
And you should have. You know, there's one more follow-up that I did not get a chance to look up, but now we have to add it again.
Which one?
And I didn't send you the link for Jerry Burns for his.
Oh yeah.
We have to look up the Bill Walsh actually stealing the West Coast
statement.
His statement stealing the West Coast offense from Jerry Burns. So fans, I promise you, if I'm going to make a statement like that, I gotta bring the goods. So we will get that, and I gotta send you the link. You thought the Dennis Grant rant was fun. I gotta send you a Jerry Burns rant after they won. He broke the all-time record for using the F word when he won.
Wow.
I got to send you that link.
Sounds fired up.
All right. Thanks for the follow-up. And you know what? I missed one, but, we'll get to it.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
This is only episode 6. We've probably got another 750 episodes to go.
Let's keep on rolling.
All right. Let's talk about this game.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So this is just, Billy Gold. We're going to leave the real deal out right now. Let's talk about this game. Vikings defensive scheme must account for Russell Wilson's ability to make something happen on broken plays. If linebacker Anthony Barr is available, he missed week 1 for this game, all the pieces will be in place, and that is what we need to handle business against this year's very talented Seahawks team. Excuse me. The Vikings receivers will need to exploit the Seahawks secondary along with a healthy dose of Dalvin Cook. Screenplays should be implemented to slow the pass rush down and keep Cousins clean. Hopefully, rookie left tackle Christian Darrisaw will finally be at full strength, as he will be needed. I feel really good about our special teams unit right now. All right. Minnesota needs to protect the home turf the rest of the season. No hiccups. Coach, can you hear me? This is your responsibility. I've seen you do it in the past. I know it's only game 3, but show me you haven't lost the locker room. Get it done, because I will be in the house, and I want to return home with a large smile on my face. So my prediction, Coach gets it done. Minnesota 31, Seattle 20.
Wow. I see how you feel. I'm looking forward to this game. I'm looking forward to the fact that we're going to be in the state of bread and butter. Have you heard that phrase before? I didn't know Minnesota was referred to that on occasion. I think we're coming in there, and I think, honestly, that the Seattle Seahawks offense is just scratching the surface, and that there's no way that Shane Waldron is putting all of his cards on the table in week 1. I believe they're just getting started, and there's more to come. I think you're going to actually see, and I think the other defenses in the league will be paying very close attention to our film, because you're going to see every position group, including the offensive line, fully functional and working in cohesion with each other to the point where it's going to be almost unstoppable. They're going to spread out defenses. They're going to exploit mismatches. They are going to utilize speed and power strategically, not just randomly. It's going to be strategic. And I just think it's going to be too much, at least at this early age of the season, for anybody to really stop unless they start having a bunch of penalties. Defensively, we've seen Kirk Cousins before. We have to make sure we account for Adam Thielen, Jefferson, and Dalvin Cook. We know that. But I know Seattle is going to go after that run first and try to force that to turn your team into a one-dimensional offense if we can do it. If we get off to that start, we'll be off to a good start with it. But we have to make sure that our front seven harass and get in front of Kirk Cousins and make him uncomfortable in the pocket. He can't sit still, and if he does, he's got to take hits.
He doesn't get happy feet. What he does, Cap, is he takes sacks. He doesn't get happy feet. He'll stand in there and take the hit.
Right.
But he's got to do 1, 2, throw it away.
We need him to stand in there and be consistent and take the hit.
Yeah, agree. And you know, if it's like the first half of week 1, he stood in there and took the hit.
Because we're going to come for him. And we only had, I don't know how many sacks we had in the last game, but we had a lot of pressure that could have been sacks, and the ball would come out just at the last second. We did lose one. Well, I don't know if we lost him, but we did lose one defensive lineman, LJ Collier. I don't know if it's long-term or not, but my dark horse that I mentioned early on, Rasheem Green, is highly functioning right now in his role on the D-line. Carlos Dunlap and these linebackers they're going to be fully dialed in and ready, and they can all run sideline to sideline. So I think they're going to try to force that run to be bottled up and get Mr. Cousins in a situation where he's got to pass. Hopefully it's for, anything over 15 yards, because he's pretty good at passing for 6-7 yarders.
Captain check down.
And we don't want to get chipped away, but if we do, we just got to make sure we don't break. And then our special teams, I'm really liking what I'm seeing so far. And the value of a great kicker. We have a fantastic punter. And I think if we can just do what we did last week, and hopefully we do that against Tennessee week 2, we'll be poised to come in there and try to get after you all. Now, the one thing that makes me nervous is that we've won the last 5 games against you. And I always want to guard against complacency. So I'm pretty sure Pete Carroll will keep the team focused on this version of the Minnesota Vikings and let the coaches utilize the skill sets that we have and see if we can be stopped. The one thing I do like about Pete Carroll is that when we do have a problem on defense early on, they make fantastic adjustments normally, and I expect that. So you're saying you're going to get 31 on the Hawks. I have my score listed as Seattle 31, Minnesota 17.
Wow.
And I know
we flipped the script pretty much.
we did. It's tough because it's going to be in your house, but I really do feel like we're built for the road. And I know Russell Wilson is built for road games as well. So
Zim coaches pretty good against Seattle, and I don't. If 31 points, I'll buy you lunch.
okay, that's out there, y'all. Y'all heard that?
Buy you lunch.
All right,
I don't see 31. I'm not saying Seattle can't win.
Yeah,
It's on the
you
road.
don't see us getting
In
31.
a hostile environment. First home game. Stadium's going to be rocking. I will be screaming louder than anybody in the building. If I have to run down to the sideline and give Coach Zim some talking points, I'll do it.
Well, I mean, both teams are going to be hungry for success for sure. And it's going to be tough sledding, and it's going to be in front of the Scolders, which I'm looking forward to. But hey, wherever the opponent is, that's where we go.
Exactly.
That's what we do. So
All
we'll
right,
be
good,
there.
Good stuff. Good stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun. So,
No doubt.
and for Scolger fans and 12 fans, me and Cap are, we got a little homers in us, and
Absolutely.
and we're always going to, lean towards that side. But, we're both realistic, and, these games could go either way. Minnesota could be desperate at 0-2 at that point, and then I definitely see where they really have to put backs against the wall, have to take the victory. And at home, it's a little easier to do that. So we'll see. We'll see what the outcome is.
Yep.
All right, let's move to the next segment. Cap and I picked the Week 1 matchups for the entire NFL, and Cap, you got the early lead. Cap goes 11 wins and 5 losses. Now, thanks to the Raiders coming back last night,
Yeah.
I finished at 10 wins and 6 losses.
Yep.
So, Cap, I got to tell you, these expert betting sites, we got Hall of Fame numbers. They're going to be calling us and say, guys,
if you want to make some money,
you want to make some money, 11 and 5.
I don't get into gambling like that, but if you want
I
to make
don't
some
either,
money,
but
you might want to just listen in and see what you can pick up.
Exactly. That doesn't mean they can't use our brilliance to make some money. And I've been called brilliant before, especially at work, at least a couple times.
Well, that's good. That's good. I mean, we just love football, and we do pay attention. And when we're talking, it's not just out the side of our neck.
We're doing some research, or some search, as you say.
Yeah,
All
we're
right.
putting something on it.
Let's move to the Week 3 games for the NFL.
Ready.
So we usually started off with a little Ric Flair. Woo! All right. It wasn't as good as last week.
Get that out your system.
You got to get that out before you go to these games. All right, Cat. First game we got Carolina at Houston, the Thursday night game. I see Sam Darnold's comfort level growing now that he's out of New York. He leads Carolina to a victory. Carolina 24, Houston 21.
On the road, huh?
On the road.
I got Tyrod Taylor and that Houston squad that looked pretty good in Week 1.
They did.
I'm taking Houston at home 27-14.
Wow. Okay, good. I had a close game. You have them up almost 2 TDs.
Yeah, I think it'll be a few weeks before these scores start to tighten up.
Let's get to the Sunday games. Indianapolis at Tennessee. The Titans did not look good in Week 1. Titans at home overcome their defensive issues and survive at home. Derrick Henry goes for 2 TDs. I got Tennessee 24, Indianapolis 23.
Now, this is a Week 3 matchup, and I got an up-close look at Indianapolis. They're going to damage some teams. Their running attack is no joke. And I think
Jonathan Taylor's really good.
Oh my goodness. And their linebackers, they come up and fill. So I mean, I think they're going to look at the film from Week 1. I think they're going to go into Tennessee. This is hard to do, and beat Tennessee 27-24.
All right. So we've had opposite sides for the first 2 games here. So that's the chance for me to take a 1-game lead after these first 2 games. If I come out victorious, I will take the lead on the results for the season.
Well, let's see how we do with the rest of these. Maybe we'll have some more opposition.
Let's go. Next game, I got the LA Chargers at Kansas City.
Bing, 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 bing. That's the upset of the week coming.
All right. I see Mahomes and company winning at home against a stubborn Chargers team. I really like Justin Herbert at quarterback. I really like Eckler as a running back. I'm not convinced of their defense yet, but I got Casey winning 30-24.
Wow. Yeah, that's my upset of the week. And again, this is a road game. I can't believe I'm picking so many road teams in the NFL, but I have the Chargers shocking the Kansas City Chiefs 31-17 in their house.
Nice. I definitely put the asterisk next to the upset.
Yep.
All right. Let's move to Cincy at Pittsburgh. All right. So I hammered Big Ben.
You did.
I hammered him prior to week 1. So I got to eat crow. Big Ben has something left in the tank, as he showed me with his week 1 performance. Until he gets dinged up and can't move around, which he will, he has earned my trust to lead the Steelers to victory at home. Rookie running back, Najee, new nickname, Franco 2 Harris, continues to impress.
Is that what they're calling him?
That's what I'm calling him.
Oh, okay.
The media will pick up on this, and they will be calling him Franco 2 Harris as soon as they hear it.
Okay.
You like that?
I actually do. I didn't know if that was real, but now it's real.
It's real.
You just said it.
Yeah, and it wasn't even the real deal.
You just spoke it into existence.
I got Pittsburgh 28, Cincinnati 17.
Okay, well, I'm calling something different there because I don't know if the Pittsburgh offense is what we think it is right now because I think their defense got a score. I don't know how impressive the offense was, but this Joe Burrow kid from that Bayou and Mr. Mixon and a few other weapons on offense, let alone some good action on defense, I think Cincinnati goes in there and gets the 21-17 win in that volatile stadium.
I think you picked 3 out of 4 road games. What would you have the final score?
21-17, Cincinnati.
You've picked 3 out of 4 road teams. Wow. Coming off an 11-5, feeling his oats. All right, let's move to Chicago at Cleveland. I got Baker Mayfield showing Justin Fields that success is not overnight in the NFL. My prediction, Cleveland 23, Chicago 13.
I got a high-scoring barn burner, but I have Cleveland winning at home 38-37.
Wow, even with Chicago's defense, huh?
Yeah.
I guess
I need more film, but we do have some film out there, which is
Khalil
good.
Mack is you tell Khalil Mack you're giving up 37 points. I'm not staying in the room with him.
Yeah, hopefully we don't have to.
I might send the real deal in, but I'm not going in.
Yeah, he'll go in anywhere.
All right, let's get Baltimore and Detroit.
Okay.
You know, Lamar Jackson, big fumble this week. I see him having a big game in an easy win at Detroit. My prediction, Baltimore 31, Detroit 20.
Okay, you know, I don't say easy, but yeah, I have Baltimore Ravens going in there, not very happy. They're going to knock that down and get a 29-17 win.
Sounds easy to me.
Yeah, they got to work for it, but
you got a 12-point gap, I got an 11-point gap, and I call mine easy.
Yeah.
All right, good stuff. Let's move on to New Orleans at New England.
Let's go.
All right. No Drew Brees, no problem. Saints have a solid roster, and their defense frustrates the rookie QB, Mac Jones. I got a road win for the Saints, 24-16.
Is it true if the Saints win, they got Jameis is going to buy king crab for everybody? Is that happening?
Oh, I'm getting in line then. I like king crab.
Oh, you don't know about that?
I do not know that, but
okay.
no, if that's the case, I might move to New Orleans for a week.
Hey, it's not a bad place to get some fantastic food. Yeah, it doesn't get any easier for New England. Not with this group. The Saints are going to let them have it.
Nice.
28-14.
28-14. So the Teog.
It's not over yet.
The Teog suffers another defeat. Is that what you're saying?
I think New Orleans goes into New England with zero fear.
Good.
And this is the team that if they play with no fear, these Saints, you better put your track shoes on.
All right, good. So I'm not doing any upsets of the week, but I have two locks of the week. And this is my first lock of the week. It's Arizona at Jacksonville. Cardinals go on the road, and their defensive front is too much for Jacksonville.
It's a heavy load.
I got lock of the week, Arizona 34, Jacksonville 17.
Yeah, Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins. It's just too much right now, I think. And I have Arizona, again, representing the NFC West. So I'm calling it the NFC best. We'll find out. But I have Arizona knocking them down 30-21.
21. Wow.
Again, this is a road victory we're picking again on the visiting team.
You got it. Next matchup, Washington at Buffalo. I got Buffalo winning at home behind Josh Allen and the former Minnesota Vikings, Stephon Diggs, who's still, kind of tweaked up from some preseason injury. I got my prediction, Buffalo 27, Washington, a good Washington team 20.
Yeah, even if Buffalo wins in week 2, they are going to be so angry from losing their first home game against Pittsburgh in their house in front of their fans.
Absolutely. And
they play well angry, so I think they're going to win 41-30.
41, wow. 71 points. Ooh, man. there's no defense in that game. And I actually think Washington's defense is pretty good.
They are, and I'm glad you said that because last week I said Chase Daniels instead of Chase Young.
Yes.
They're phenomenal defensive ends. So my bad, Chase.
You're going to get double teamed.
They're going to try.
For a little while. All right, let's move on to the 4 p.m. games. I got New York Jets at Denver. This is my second lock of the week. The Jets, they're setting themselves up. I had for a top 3 pick, but it might be the top pick in next year's draft. I got Denver 28, Jets 17.
You say they're setting themselves
They're setting themselves
already?
up. Already.
Oh, boy.
Come on.
Oh, my goodness. No, I do have Denver getting that W. They look good in week 1, and I have them being disciplined and getting a 24-14 victory at home.
All right, Teddy Bridgewater, unless he gets injured, still should be their QB. All right, let's move to Miami at Las Vegas, who came off a big late win last night against Baltimore.
Emotional win,
exactly.
Too.
So I got my tip of the cap here.
Uh-oh, let's get it going.
Tip of the cap.
Who's getting that tip?
Raiders defensive end Max Crosby.
Oh, he was all over the field.
Looks like a breakout candidate on defense.
He was everywhere.
And I got a second tip of the cap, though he did drop a pass. Tight end Darren Waller. He's unstoppable.
Oh, he was ridiculous.
He is already better than San Francisco's Kittle. He's already better than him.
Oh, you trying to come after George Kittle? That's my guy.
Darren Waller. It's one game and he's past him.
I hope they play each other so he can show you what he can really do.
Agreed. And
Darren Waller's a baller, though.
Darren Waller is
legit.
really good.
Yeah, he is really.
I
legit.
also during this game saw number 34, your guy KJ Wright, play really, really well in his first game as a Raider.
Yeah.
I got Raiders winning. Miami's pretty tough, though.
They are.
Raiders 23, Miami 20.
All right, this is another chance for you to make up some ground because I have the Miami Dolphins going into they call it the Death Star. Did you hear that?
I did not hear that.
Yeah, they call their new stadium the Death Star, I believe. Going in there and beating the Raiders 28-24.
Wow. All right. Okay, let's move on to the final 4 p.m. game. The reigning champion, Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the L.A. Rams.
I can't wait to hear your pick on this one.
This is going to be a great game. But I got home field advantage is the deciding factor in a very close game. I got Rams 24, Tampa Bay 23.
Wow, our scores are really, really close. And I think, it could even be worse, but I think the LA Rams are for real. And I know Tampa Bay's for real too, but I think the Rams are for real. And I think they're going to knock them off 27-21.
All right. So we're in the same agreement there. I think the Rams are, they need to make a move to get another running back. But I think other than that, I don't see much weakness. And Stafford, if he stays healthy, they're going to be tough to beat.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of teams are picking them to win that division. Which is your division?
The NFC West, baby.
A lot of good teams.
Bring it.
A lot of good teams in that.
Iron sharpens iron.
I would agree with your statement, NFC best at this point.
Well, it's early, but it is extremely competitive in
strong
this
teams.
In this division.
All right, let's move on to the Week 3 Sunday Night Football game. Green Bay, who got toasted 38-3. The only thing that was bad about that game is that I wish both teams could lose because I don't like either of them. But Packers are in the division, and I see the 49ers following the defensive formula used in Week 1 by the Saints to limit Green Bay opportunities. I see San Francisco 30, Green Bay 20.
Yeah, I see the wheels falling off for the Green Bay Packers in this week.
And Aaron Rodgers, by the way, get rid of that little thing that wraps the back of your hair up. Get rid of that first. And by the way, you look old.
I wanted the real deal to weigh in on him getting benched. That's what I wanted.
Yeah,
but
I don't think
it's early for that.
Yeah, I don't think he got benched.
Oh, he got benched.
Sorry, I hit the microphone there.
He got benched.
I don't think I'm not sure he got benched. There was no way they were coming back. And you know what? They think this next guy is the next great thing, Jordan Love. I'm not.
You know what that's going to do to that locker room after this offseason that they had?
Yeah, hey,
it's going to be volcanic if they don't get it under control.
Here's what I'm rooting for. And I know he looked old, but I'll change my tune in a heartbeat. We already had Brett Favre come to Minnesota. Send over at Rodgers. I'll trade Cousins for Rodgers straight up. Let's go.
No, if you get him on your team, yeah, it's a different situation right there. But I'm still mad they didn't get. You guys need to get that Jim Thorpe trophy out of there. I don't like that. That still has me frustrated. But
if you guys don't know what that is, you got to go back to our historical episode. That was our first episode. It was, by the way, a legendary episode.
Hey, and I'm gonna give you my score real quick. San Francisco 41 on prime time.
Wow.
Green Bay's doors get blown off. They have 14 points.
41-14.
Yeah.
Wow.
You gotta go hard or not go at all.
Whoa. All right. Let's move to the Monday night matchup. We got Dallas or Philly visiting Dallas. I seen enough from Dak Prescott in week 1 to think he's pretty good. Now, I've seen enough from Zeke Elliott in week 1 to think he's not all that good.
Yeah.
So I think they wasted the money on Elliott, and I think it was a good spend on Prescott. Prescott has a big game, and you know what? The defense is getting better. So my prediction is Dallas 27, Philly 17.
Now, this is I didn't even pick a game of the week, but I'm going to say this is my game of the week right here. I think this game is going to be lights out for everybody. I have, and Zeke, I'm not a big fan of his, but he has pride, and he's hearing everybody saying that he didn't show up. He's going to go back to his old Ohio State mindset. He's going to show up, and he's going to help Dak, and he's going to help CeeDee Lamb, and he's going to help the Dallas Cowboys get them a primetime victory against a phenomenal Jalen Hurts and a hungry Philly squad. But it's going to be a nail biter. It's going to be 31-30, and Dak is going to get that first win at home, and Jerry Jones is going to do the press conference.
Nice. Yeah, he does. he always gets in front of the mic when he wins. Otherwise,
exactly.
he's hiding up in the luxury
box. Or he'll
box.
start throwing people under the bus.
He's hiding up in the luxury box.
Yeah.
All right. So that takes us through the matchups. Let's move quickly to our fantasy football league. Week 1 saw the captain rally to win 124-115 with Kenyon Drake sealing the deal Monday night. Now, me and Cap talked at halftime, and Cap says, I don't think he's going to get it. But, he did enough in receiving to didn't do much in rushing, but caught enough passes and for 59 yards, I believe. And Cap took home the week 1 victory. Now, coming into this game, I was ranked number 1 in the league, but I got torched.
When you told me how far back you were, I was shocked.
This guy scored 174 points. 174.
He's setting records.
No, that's going to be the top score of the week. 174-115. Wow. Anyway,
that is crazy. That is unusual too, though.
Unusual, but you know what? My matchup this week is against another undefeated team. We'll see how that goes. So I'll give you my starters for this week.
Okay.
I got my start of the week. He had a really good week in week 1. So for my week 3 lineup, I got Josh Allen, Buffalo QB at Miami. I got running back Derrick Henry, Tennessee at Seattle. I got running back James Robinson, who had a poor performance in week 1, Jacksonville at Denver. Wide receiver Stephon Diggs, Buffalo at Miami. Wide receiver Calvin Ridley, Atlanta at Tampa Bay. Tight end, creeping up to number 2, soon to be number 1, Darren Waller.
Who is number 1, by the way?
Kelsey.
Oh, okay.
Darren Waller, Las Vegas at Pittsburgh. My flex, Cooper Kupp, had a great start to the season. Got him up against Indianapolis. Defense, Minnesota had a bunch of sacks, but they only had 4 point something fantasy points. So they're at Arizona, which could be a tough matchup, but I do not have a defense on my bench, so I got to ride the wave here. Kicker, Jason Myers, Seattle versus Tennessee. And on my bench, my sit of the week is Myles Gaskin, Miami running back against Buffalo. Wide receiver Deebo Samuel, who, by the way, had a breakout game in week 1, but I'm sitting him against Philly. Running back Mike Davis, Atlanta, sitting against Tampa Bay. Wide receiver Marvin Jones, Jacksonville, sitting against Denver. QB Matthew Stafford, sitting against Indianapolis. Wide receiver Deontay Johnson, Pittsburgh, sitting against the Las Vegas Raiders. And the guy I just picked up, Latavius Murray, running back for Baltimore, is against KC, but I have him sitting. So that's the transaction I made on September 8th. The real deal, dropped Gus Edwards to waivers. He had tore his ACL and was out for the year, and I added Latavius Murray to my bench.
Understood. So Destiny Travel Ways, we did, like you said, pulled out a nail biter with the last second win to come out the gate 1-0. Led by, and we will be led by again this week, Russell Wilson at QB. I got my guy A.J. Brown from Tennessee, even though he's coming against us. But I need him to come through and get some points for me, but I still need him to take the L. We got CeeDee Lamb for Dallas, who had a great week 1, and we also have George Kittle. George Kittle is my watch 'em for this week. Russell Wilson is my start 'em for this week. And our running back situation is a bit shaky, so I got to keep doing some tweaking with that. But I did get Kenyon Drake out of Denver to come through for me to help us get the win last night, so he'll be starting again. Also have Devontae Smith of Philadelphia, and also Ryan Suckup, my quarterback from Tampa Bay, my kicker from Tampa Bay, and the Seattle Seahawks defense starting. On my bench, Jalen Waddle, but he's close to getting some time. Jalen Hurts, I got to keep an eye on him because he's kind of hot right now, but he's on the bench. Trey Sermon, San Francisco running back, and Alex Collins, Seattle running back, on the bench. Sony Michel, who I may have to let him go. He's a Rams running back.
Actually, you know who you might want to look at, Cap?
Who?
I don't have any room on my bench for any more great players, but San Francisco lost Rasheem Mostert, so they have their I think his name's Elijah something. You might want to check there.
I'll check him out.
He's available. I know he's available.
Okay.
And he had 100 yards this week.
Okay, I'll take a look at him. And then D. Eskridge is our Sidham Seattle rookie. He's in concussion protocol right now, so we wish him a speedy recovery. And all the Seahawks that got injured, wish them speedy recoveries for sure.
All right, that wraps up the fantasy.
That wraps it up.
All right, so that brings us to the end of episode 6. So, Scolders, 12s, and all you football fanatics, thank you for tuning in today. And make sure to get the word out on the street to check out all of our episodes. The Seahawks took care of business in week 1, and the Vikings thought there was a week 4 preseason game. Hopefully, the Vikings can bounce back and steal one on the road against a very good Arizona Cardinal football team. Just so everybody knows, Cap and mine tickets are secured for our visit to Minnesota. And boy, did we get some sweet seats. 50-yard line, section V8.
You got to give props to the person that got them for us.
The real deal got them for us. Did someone say the Medtronic Club? If you don't know what the Medtronic Club is, I know the Scolders do, but the 12s, you gotta Google that. Google is your best friend. You gotta check that out. Living the dream. Cat, get your Seahawk gear ready for our road trip.
You know I'll be ready to rock and roll.
Close us out with your final thoughts.
All right. Well, for the 12s and the entire Emerald Nation and to the Scolders, Seahawk fans, we had a successful maiden voyage into some hostile territory belonging to the Indianapolis Colts in week 1. And we're hopefully working off of a 2-0 victory against the Titans. Now, although we sometimes experience some turbulence at the beginning of our journeys, we will find a smooth vector and ride that vector for the duration of the flight. We had a good landing back in the Emerald Nation, which is where we will be remaining until we depart again for the treasure-rich valleys of the Minnesota Vikings for what will be an epic and fantastic voyage. To the 12s and to the Scolders, we'll see you in the land of 10,000 lakes. And if somebody can help my man meet Bud Grant, please help him do that. We'll talk soon.